on with the show.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of AV Club. It's good to see you. It's only been a couple days. It actually hasn't been very long. It hasn't been a month like it normally would be. But welcome back. Welcome back, guys. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hope you were all well this holiday time of year. If you saw us on Monday, that was our first ever bonus episode. And this is kind of going to be our more normal format here. And we're going to be doing, obviously, Gremlins. It's going to be a good time, but we are joined by a couple guests this time, obviously. So, first off, we're joined by one of our returning guests, Mr. Spartan God 56. Thank you so much for coming back, man.
Hello, all. Nice to be back.
I appreciate you coming back, dude. And also, Ruby, who does not want to be seen. She only wants to be heard. But rwbydragonn is back with us yet again. So thank you for coming back, Ruby. We do appreciate you.
Yeah, glad to be back.
And then joining us for the first time, making his debut on the AV Club in probably one of the best hats he could have ever worn and chosen to wear, Mr. MegaMagwitch. Mega, welcome to the Hill Valley AV Club, man.
Who, me? Oh, hello. Hi. I'm very happy to be here.
Mega, since this is your first time here, give us a quick rundown of who you are, what you do, and all that good stuff.
Well, my name is MegaMagwitch. I'm probably most well-known, maybe, if anyone knows me, from the YouTube group Husky Raid, where we make Destiny dance videos, and Machinima, our Machinima series Destiny Cops, I am the head writer on, and director and editor these days, which sucks. And I also stream to Twitch under my own moniker every weekday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I do the Planet Destiny podcast, so a lot of crap involving Destiny, but this is an opportunity to branch out to film. So, yay.
There you go. Is film something that you're like aspiring to do ultimately one day, or is this just like a fun hobby for you? Like
I've always been more of a TV guy when it comes to aspirations. You know, I'm aiming low. I'm aiming low at the TV writing fruit. That seems more doable than the movies, the talkies.
There you go.
A little too high up for me, but yeah. Well, definitely something I'm interested in.
Are you looking at being like a writer, or like because I work in TV as well, so
writing.
I'm kind of curious as well. Okay, so more like in writing?
Definitely, yes.
Okay.
Writing for sure. I'm terrible at all things visual. I don't know how I got stuck directing and editing our series now.
Oh. Well, if you guys haven't seen the Husky Raid stuff, it is pretty darn awesome. It is pretty great. Definitely check it out. And we'll drop links and stuff and everything at the end, so that way you can find these wonderful gentlemen on the internet. And I know Ruby is talking about maybe starting to stream sometime in the new year as well, so maybe we can give you a nice, friendly neighborhood bump and get you going. But guys, obviously this month we are going to be talking about Gremlins and other holiday traditions and movies that we like to watch around this time of year, because there's a lot of unique ones, you know, like Christmas Story, Home Alone, and you know, Gremlins, which some people are like, that's a Christmas movie. It's like, oh yeah, it totally is.
Yeah, it is.
For sure. And Die Hard, I think, is one of the biggest ones where people are surprised, like, that's a Christmas movie? It's like, yes, have you seen the movie? He's going to a Christmas party.
People really try to argue. They really don't want to accept that Die Hard is a Christmas movie, and it gets me pretty tilted. It gets me pretty angry when people don't want to admit it. Right? So I'm glad at least you understand.
Yes, I do understand. It is legit a Christmas movie. But before we get into talking about, you know, Christmas movies and things like that, what have you guys been watching recently? What have you guys been up to? What have you been watching on your own time? Mega, since it's your first time here, kick us off. What have you been watching lately?
Well, I saw this really great independent film recently called Star Wars: The Last Jedi. I don't know if anyone's heard of that.
Couple people.
Sounds like a pile of hot garbage to me.
Yeah, well, it's a mixed bag of hot garbage.
Is it like Star Trek? Like, it's like the one that's like Star Trek, right?
Yeah.
That one.
It's got that bald dude. Yeah, Captain Picard. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
Ah, cool. Captain Kirk said it's sweet.
Yeah. It's that movie that ruins everyone's childhoods and lives, apparently, or whatever. I don't know. I thought it was okay.
You thought it was all right?
It was distinctly okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hated it when I first saw it, but then I saw it 2 more times because why not? Because I have Movie Pass, so I might as well go to the theater multiple times.
There you go.
And it grew on me on multiple viewings. But other than that, I think the best movie I've seen recently, since we're talking movies, is Lady Bird. I saw that in theaters too.
I've been
That is a
really
good
intrigued with Lady Bird. A few people that I work with have said very, very good things. What would you compare it to for those that maybe aren't aware of Lady Bird?
Oof.
I know it's directed by a female director, and she kind of got snubbed out in, was it the Golden Globes? Or no, gosh, like there was like an award thing that went around where it was all male directors, and it created a big scuttlebutt because Lady Bird is getting such high praise, and she just got completely overlooked for it. And I'm blanking on what it was, but and I've heard from a writing perspective, like dialogue and everything, it's pretty top notch.
It is. It's a great coming of age movie for this girl. Kind of. It just, oddly enough, just because it's the Christmas season, I'm going to compare it to A Christmas Story, and it's a weird comparison because they seemingly have nothing in relation. But
does somebody get shot in the eye with a BB gun?
No, they both do a great job of encapsulating a time period in your life and like a season, like a feel, like it's her senior year of high school, and it does a great job of showing that like growth throughout the year. Just like A Christmas Story perfectly captures how it feels to be like 10 around Christmas time. This movie is like perfect. How I imagine it feels to be a teenage girl your senior year of high school.
Oh my gosh, it sounds like awful and terrible at the same time.
But it's a great movie for if I were a girl who has ever had any drama with my mama, this would be the perfect movie, I think, because like the relationship between mother and daughter is like the key center point of the movie, and they nail it, and it's beautiful.
Very nice.
All right.
Spartan, what have you been watching, man?
I've been watching quite a few things. It's been cold outside. You know, it's one of those. It's the time of season where you want to get blankets, you want to chill out, you want to relax, get some nice cocoa, get the fire on. So I've been chilling with Netflix and watching different movies and TV shows. I just started. Everybody says if you like Breaking Bad, you like all that stuff. You like Son of Anarchy. So I've been watching a little bit of Son of Anarchy. I just started it. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
like 4 episodes in. Yeah, I definitely can see what people are talking about with that. As far as movies go, you guys mentioned movies that you guys watched during the Christmas season. One of mine is Nightmare Before Christmas. Debatable. People sometimes will debate you if it's a Halloween movie or Christmas movie.
No,
and it isn't.
I believe it to be a Christmas movie.
It's definitely a Christmas movie.
Yeah,
it's Christmas.
It's like the ultimate bridge movie.
It really is a great bridge, but
I could sit there and watch that movie and laugh my ass off like if I'm watching Dumb and Dumber. Like there's some scenes in there that are so ridiculous that I'm sitting there watching it like the first time and I'm laughing my ass off on the couch.
Nice.
That's a really good one. And just like Mega Star Wars, I saw Star Wars twice. And I wanted to see if I caught anything else the second time I saw it, and I did. I felt like just like everybody else that watched it a few times. The second time I watched it, I actually liked it a lot more. I think all the expectations were gone and the walls were pulled back, and I definitely liked it a lot more the second time. I gave it a solid 8.
Okay, I definitely I want to give it a second shot because I had such a mixed bag of emotions with Last Jedi, but at the same time, it's like you'll have to go back and listen to the last episode, or the bonus episode, because I don't want to give away too many spoilers because it's within a week of the movie being out, and I don't want to spoil that just yet or really dive too much into it. But I've heard a lot of people that have been in similar positions that I have in terms of their perspective, they felt better after the second viewing. So I definitely want to give that a second go, just because I want to love it more than I love it now, and I actually don't really love it. It's like I liked it.
It's like the feeling of everybody I know coming out of the theater. It's like I feel bad that I don't love it.
Yeah,
like
I know. It's like I should love this, right?
Honestly, the things that for me that really make me believe it to be an 8, right? I'm not convincing myself for it to be an 8. I believe it to be an 8 is the idea that this whole thing is a trilogy. That I feel like there's some parts in this movie where I feel that it's going to carry over seamlessly to the next movie, and once we capture it in that movie, we're gonna look back and we're gonna see The Last Jedi. We're gonna be like, oh my god, this made so much sense. Oh my god, this is wonderful. This movie's a 9 now because of everything that they tied in the next movie with this one. What I'm saying is potential. I see it to carry over to the next movie potentially really, really nicely. They set up a lot of things. So.
Yeah, I sure hope so too, man.
Oh, don't drop the ball. Please don't drop the ball.
The main thing that I was listening to, another great movie podcast to listen to, and another just good movie website, slashfilm.com. They did, I listened to their episode about Last Jedi just to get some more perspective. And the one thing that they brought up was like, man, I really hope this doesn't end up happening is I don't want this to turn into where it feels like a TV show but going through 3 distinct showrunners, you know, like where your first season was done by JJ, then the next one's done by Rian Johnson, who is a fantastic director, and I think directed some of the best Breaking Bad episodes
he did
ever.
The 2 best episodes.
Yeah,
yes,
man. Ozymandias is like the best episode, period. The dude is a great director, and I loved Looper. I loved Brick. He's great. And so, like, when I heard that he was getting charge of a Star Wars property, it's like, oh, hell yes, this is going to be great. And then...
then it felt more Rian Johnson than Star Wars at times.
It did, and it really did. But at the same time, there were good moments of it with being Rian Johnson. Like, some of the character moments and the dialogue and the intimate moments. It's like, this is so Rian Johnson in the best way. This is what he can bring. But... at the same time, like I felt like with it just had some odd pacing, you know, like where in Star Wars it's like you're ready to see some big things happening all the time, and this one would be like really, really big things, and then really close, very tight, small moments. But it's like, but I kind of want to get back to like blowing up something really big or like the big space fight. Can we do that more?
Right.
I think we all can agree the casino scenes. I mean, they could have left that out completely. They try to like touch into the casino scene a few times and run with Finn and that side story plot, and it just didn't carry, man.
Sure.
Like, I get what they were going for with it. It just wasn't very well executed on I want to ask this, so I know we don't want to get too stuck on Star Wars talk during that, but I just want to ask a question I've seen posed is, are you still excited for Rian Johnson to have his own Star Wars trilogy after this movie? And I think I'm more excited. I'm still excited for his movie because I won't judge it by the same criteria I judge an episodic Star Wars title. You know?
And almost like I would almost look at it like I kind of wish maybe Ryan was given one of the Star Wars stories and maybe not a Skywalker saga film.
Agreed.
And I think that maybe would have been a better serving of his talents, but whether we want it or not, I mean, this is what we have.
We stepped into a war with
we stepped in a war with Kathleen Kennedy on Mars. But yeah, anyway. So yeah, obviously, I mean, you could tell there's mixed feelings about Last Jedi. I want to see it again because I really want to give it another shot because I am a fan of Rian Johnson as a writer, as a director, as just a creative guy. And I want to give him some due diligence and just give him one more shot. Come on, Ryan.
We believe in you.
We believe in Rian Johnson. So Ruby, what have you been up to? What have you been watching?
Well, the last few episodes of Ruby season 5 are coming out, and so I've been this past week I've been watching 2 a day.
Okay.
And up until where we are now. And it's funny to see how even just through one season how much the animation has developed.
Yeah. And so for people that aren't familiar with Ruby, what is it and where can people view it? Because for me, I didn't know what it was until you actually started coming by our channel.
Yeah. Well, it's a story about lots of things. Guns and giant weapons. Fighting creatures made out of inky darkness that we don't quite know a whole lot about.
Okay, so very much like Destiny, where it's an unknown darkness and there's lots of guns.
And yeah, except for it's not lots of guns and lots of weapons. It's lots of weapons that are also guns.
Gotcha. Very cool. Yeah, you sent me a couple trailers for it. It looks pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And I really been looking to get back into anime or stuff like that, and Ruby just keeps dropping that nugget every time, either in chat or something like that, and it's like, all right, fine, I'll finally buckle.
It's like when it's like when you're really, really low on money, and there's that little inkling of come to the dark side in your ear. Come on, just one soul. That's all it takes.
Just one. Awesome. Very cool. I mean, obviously for me, I mean, I binged a lot of Star Wars, and that was up till the last episode, but also been watching a bunch of Christmas movies. Like literally just before we came on, I watched 4 Christmases. And watched Die Hard, and then I watched a movie that I missed last year, and I got a chance to watch it because it's on Prime right now. Is Free Fire? Did you guys get a chance to check that one out? Did you hear about it?
Haven't.
It was shepherded by Scorsese, and it is like it almost felt like a love letter to somebody that really liked Reservoir Dogs a lot. It's
every college kid ever. Then?
Pretty much. But it's kind of cool. It's very similar in the sense that a lot of it takes place in one warehouse, so very similar to Reservoir Dogs. And it takes place in the 70s, and it's dialed up to the 9s and 70s, like wardrobe, music. The soundtrack is pretty awesome. It's like a lot of Rolling Stones and a lot of Creedence. It's pretty great. And but also it stars Brie Larson, Charlton Copley, and Armie Hammer. And Jack Rayner, but it's good. It's fun. It's basically about an arms deal. Charlton Copley is selling money to a guy from the Irish IRA, and he brings a different kind of gun, and there's just tension, and it kind of turns into somebody shoots at somebody else, and it just goes sideways real bad, and it's just like tossing a bunch of firecrackers in a bucket and just watch it go. It's very fun. It's a good action movie. It's pretty short. It's about an hour and a half. Highly recommended. It's very entertaining, and you can see that on Prime. What else? What else have we been doing?
Have you guys heard the new movie that came out? I believe it's called Bright or Blight with Will Smith and
Bright,
like an orc.
Yeah. I heard some
What do you
people
guys
talking
think?
about that.
Are you interested in watching it? What do you guys think?
I'm really interested in watching it because the reviews have been terrible. Everybody in the Reddit thread for it said it was actually pretty good, and then one of my subs said that it was horrible, and I don't know who to believe. And I know it was written by Max Landis, and so now I don't know. I want to watch it now because it's got a perfect amount of controversy on. I can't find a solid opinion on it.
I heard the special effects are like super awesome. Like that's worth watching it alone. Like just it's eye candy for sure. As far as the storyline and everything goes, I heard that they could have expanded more on the characters. That's a little kind of bland and a little flat. But I heard that the orc, his partner, Will Smith's partner, actually steals the show. So he's the one that's like carrying the movie, I guess, instead of Will Smith as you would think he would be.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if I have to double check and see, but to me it looks a lot like End of Watch in terms of how it's shot, and I think it's the same guy, right? Same director at End of Watch and Suicide Squad.
I heard that, yes.
Okay,
that's what I heard as well, huh?
When I saw a trailer for it, I'm like, dude, this looks like straight up End of Watch, but with wands and wizards and trolls and serious racial undertones.
Pixies and shit.
It seems cool though. I mean, I like Will Smith. I mean, welcome to Earth and all that stuff.
I like Will Smith references something from 20 years ago.
I know, right?
He's really nailing it these days.
I know, right? Oh, but he's rocking the stash again. It's like, all right, fresh.
That guy doesn't age, man. He I don't know, found the Holy Grail or something. That guy doesn't age.
Clean living, I guess. I don't know.
I think you got the Fountain of Youth and the Holy Grail mixed up.
Maybe it's both. Maybe like you found the fountain of youth and like ground it up and made like a shake.
Ruby, have you not watched Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade?
No.
There you go.
Gasp.
There you go.
I'm sorry. I am all that is unholy.
Soft, holding back judgment. I think that they were actually, for a little while, they actually had all the Indiana Jones movies except for the one that doesn't matter, up on Amazon Prime for a little bit. I'm sure they'll come back around at some point. But yeah. So guys, everyone seems like they've been watching some pretty good stuff. Movie traditions around the holidays. You know, there's a lot of movies that people tend to watch like on their own when this time of year kind of goes around. Mega, what are some essential holiday movies for you and Mrs. Mega and the future Mega baby?
Mrs. Magwitch and Mini Magwitch and I. One thing, absolutely, a movie I've already referenced is A Christmas Story. That's not even essential to me. That's my wife's not favorite Christmas movie, her favorite movie, period. Like, she watches it all the time.
That's like her number one?
Yeah, that's her number one movie. Like, she puts it on if she's sick or anything. Like, that movie is
She might need therapy.
In the background. I know. It's a thing. But we have to watch that.
Okay.
And then... for me, I actually usually, bringing it back around, I actually usually watch Star Wars around Christmas, but my number one pick is always It's a Wonderful Life. I have to watch that. Christmas Eve, like at night. My parents are divorced, so it would always be, I went with my dad to my grandparents on Christmas Eve. Then I'd come home late at night, NBC is playing It's a Wonderful Life, and I would fall asleep watching that on Christmas Eve, and so I always put that on. That's the way to end it for me. Like, I can't have it be Christmas without watching It's a Wonderful Life.
Dang, that's a good one. That's a good one. Spartan, essentials for you, man.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure, man. No, I'm just kidding.
That's a great movie. I have a line for that movie tattooed on me.
That's like one of the greatest movies of all time.
Is that seriously a Christmas movie?
No.
I missed one.
That's a year-round movie. Let's put that out.
Okay.
Oh my
Mega,
God.
what tattoo do you have it on you? I'm curious.
I have a Au revoir Simone tattooed on me.
That's awesome,
dude. That is so cool. You mentioned it earlier, Cap. The Home Alone movies for sure. I already caught. Home Alone 2 is the better of the two for me. So yeah, just catching laughs that way and reminiscing.
We're just gonna casually say Home Alone 2 is better than Home Alone 1.
It is.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it is.
Oh yes, tenfold.
I guess if you like the same exact movie being remade just with the grander scale, I suppose.
Let's litigate this. Spartan. Why is Home Alone 2 better than Home Alone 1? And then Mega will get to retort.
I just feel that the whole New York, like he said, the grander scale, like they picked it up, they made it a grander scale. Marvin and Harry I think are more developed characters in the second one. The house, yes, of course he does the whole house thing, but they incorporate the toy store. I feel like the story is more full. I feel like it's much more of a fulfilling story. I feel like the first one was just in the house, and then his neighbor's the creepy guy. You're not sure if he's like a villain or he's like the best friend that he's going to save you at the end, and that's what ended up happening.
The person's going to abduct your child.
Thing. I mean, that's the exact same thing as
Mega looked like the neighbor's son, to be honest.
The pigeon lady legit scared the crap out of me.
Pigeon lady was no good. Yeah, I don't know what they were going with the pigeon lady.
So scary, man.
You know what? I'm actually going to change my opinion based solely on the memory that I have as a kid of when he's in New York and it's all scary and he gets in the cab and he's like, it's scary out there, and just the cab driver turns around and he's like, it ain't much better in here, kid. And he's that moment alone actually that elevates it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And that guy too, he had like the most warty, like bumpy, scary noir lighting. It's like, oh my gosh.
Better. The tricks were more clever in the second one.
My only base, I will say, like, it's almost like Home Alone 2 feels like it should just be a remake that came out like 10 years later that's better. My only reason why I can't just say that it's better flat out is it's a sequel and it's basically exactly the same movie. Just like...
in a grander scale,
in a different spot, which is... It does everything really well.
It's like most sequels.
Just a better
there's different platforms. Like he's in a hotel, he's in a park, he's in a house. The hotel scene where the guy shoots up.
He plays the
room.
movie. Yeah,
it's probably the best scene in the movie. Yeah, that's
get on your knees and tell me you love me.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's so good.
So good.
The angels with filthy souls and angels with even filthier souls. So good. So good. They actually, we just rewatched both the first Home Alone like last week, and on the Blu-ray you can actually watch that whole movie.
What?
Yeah.
I need the Blu-ray for Home Alone.
So a plug for the Home Alone 1 Blu-ray. Do yourself a favor so you can watch Angels with Filthy Souls.
They kicking that money back over to you right now or something?
No, I wish.
I know, right?
You could have your own like moment with it. You could get your big thing of ice cream and just watch it, and then cover your eyes and then record it.
He's like, guys, click the link below if you guys want to go ahead and purchase this movie.
Yes, please follow my Amazon affiliate link to buy Home Alone 1.
Can we mention that Home Alone 2 has the greatest product placement in a movie, that like selling an item ever with the freaking recording talkie thing?
I bought one. Yeah,
everybody I knew had one, and it's
had
Home
one.
Alone. Yeah,
yes.
I had one as a kid. It was so
brilliant.
Good.
So brilliant.
I didn't use it as well as Kevin did, but I wanted to pretend that I was.
Oh, of course.
It was so good. The Talk Boy, exactly. Serotonin,
Yes.
Thank you so much. Yeah, the Talk Boy. So good.
McFly, real quick. You need to decide this, man. Me and Mega are clearly split in our decision here.
Clearly.
Yes.
I need you to be the man to decide this.
I think both have excellent cheese pizza and are worth seeing every year.
There it is. I honestly just place them on even level when I think about it, really.
Fence.
Yeah. I mean, for me,
he's a fence guy.
Yeah, I'm a fence guy. At least with those two, because to me, like, yeah, they do. It suffers sequelitis, but at the same time, like, they are fun, and I like them a lot. And I do prefer the New York setting to the home setting, but like, they're similar. Both show you various ways to kill adult males, but for some reason don't, because it's a living Looney Tune cartoon. But it's so...
Oh my God, guys!
So
the scene where Harry, or is it Harry? No, the other guy. What's the other guy's name? Harry
Marv.
and
Marv.
Okay, so
Marv.
when Marv is in the basement, guys, and he's getting electrocuted, and his hair is crazy, and he turns into a skeleton. It's the best ever.
It's so good. It's a living cartoon.
It really is.
Honestly,
I think the favorite thing to me is just when he gets hit in the face with the brick. Like, just the way he takes that brick is so...
You cringe when you see that.
Yes.
You cringe.
And he's like, he's got no more bricks. Just one more. Boom. He just keeps smacking him. It's like,
my goodness.
everybody in here would be dead after the first trap. Or at least need a tetanus shot, for crying out loud. Gosh, they're so good, though. They're
Absolutely.
So good. Oh, man. As a kid, one of my favorite childhood Christmas movies was the Tim Allen Santa Claus. You guys watch that one at all growing up?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
For sure.
Yeah. I always thought it was just so neat.
The original, right?
Yeah, the original, the first one. I haven't seen the sequels. I think when I was growing up, I kind of missed them. I saw 2 is on Netflix right now, and like I think 3 is on Prime.
I remember 2 being okay. 3
was with Martin Short, right? It's like,
they went too fantasy. Yeah, it got kind of silly.
Yeah.
How about you, Ruby?
It's Frosty the Snowman. They were all silly.
Yeah.
Too much for me.
But yeah, I liked it though. I thought the special forces elves, the ELFS, I thought those were so cool, and in a way it kind of made its way to Fortnite in a way, like the elf costume, they call it the ELFS outfit.
Huh.
I was like,
I never realized that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's intentional or not, but I was like, that's fun. I want to run around like Elf. Oh, and that is another essential for me is Elf. I must see Elf every year.
Mm-hmm.
A modern classic. So essential. So. Smiling's my favorite. I love it. And it's so quotable. It's such a quotable movie.
But the elf, what's your favorite color?
Yeah, but
that's the best way to answer the phone right there.
There's no singing in the North Pole. Yes, there is. No, there's not. We sing all the time when we're making toys.
Not.
Work's your new favorite. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Oh, coffee, syrup and coffee. I've nenever done that. It's so good, man. It's so good. One of my favorite movie experiences with Elf was actually within the past few years. I worked for a movie theater when I was going back to school to kind of change careers to work in TV and stuff now, and they had a special screening of Elf where they give you props and stuff for different scenes within the movie. And so they would give you a marshmallow to eat the cotton ball, and they actually had like the full-on like food menu of things that you saw in the movie. So if you wanted that really gross spaghetti with the Pop-Tarts and the candy and maple syrup on top, you could eat that. I didn't, and I regret it just for the sake of trying it.
You better regret that.
I do regret it. I deeply regret it. I would totally try it. Now, a serious question. If you guys had the opportunity, no cost to you, if it were presented to you, would you eat the Elf breakfast spaghetti with all the candy and syrup and stuff?
If there were like no cost.
Yes, like if I were to give it to you, like.
Oh yeah, no, I'd definitely.
You'd take a bite?
Oh, I'd probably take a second bite for the heck of it.
Spartan and Mega look like they'd rather just
only
throw up.
way I'm taking a bite of that is if I'm on camera, like to entertain someone. There's zero chance.
No,
I'm just at home.
Zero
alone.
curiosity?
Sounds
Really?
Good. I don't know what there's to be curious about. I've tasted all of these things individually.
Right?
I know what they're
At the
gonna
same
taste
time.
like combined.
Oh no.
But if I'm gonna die, that's how I want to die.
Oh my god.
Just a diabetic coma of spaghetti and Pop-Tarts
Yeah.
with a little bit of syrup on the side.
Mm.
Oh my gosh.
No, thank you.
Ruby, what holiday classics do you have? Like, what are movies you guys watch around this time of year?
We watch Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. We watch the version with the puppets.
Okay, so not the stop motion one. But
No.
Okay. Interesting.
Or is it?
If it's the one that I'm thinking of, it's got like the abominable snowman and
Bumbles bounce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Silver and gold.
Yeah, that one.
Silver and gold.
yeah, that one's definitely stop motion. If it were puppets, it'd be
I was
terrifying
like-
puppets.
I don't know. They all looked pretty fuzzy to me.
Right.
Then what? The animated Frosty the Snowman.
I don't think I've seen. Oh, that's like that one's from like way back. I remember that one.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I haven't seen that one in
Happy birthday!
Oh,
yes.
Get into that, man.
Gosh,
Yeah.
I haven't
I
seen that
think
one
I
in
saw-
years. I mean, I
I
need to
think
see
I
it
saw
again.
Pee-wee for the first time last Christmas. Is like the first time I ever saw Pee-wee.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Pee-wee.
Me
He
neither,
scares the
but,
children.
Like,
Oh, my
me
goodness.
neither, but that's probably why we.
Well, my brother-in-law,
now.
like, it may be a generational thing. I don't know. I mean, I'm 30, so I don't know compared to Mega and Spartan if I'm older or younger. But my brother-in-law, who's a couple years older than me, grew up with Pee-wee, and I grew up like this guy makes me scared. I feel uncomfortable to be around this man. But he also he is kind of funny though at the same time.
I
But
can
like
see that. I can
it's
see
like
that.
funny, but I want to keep my distance.
I think I'm younger than you, but I had older siblings, so I think that must be the cause. They would have had it on.
So it's their
Pee-wee was a part of our family when I was a kid. I mean,
Yeah.
I had a Pee-wee doll.
like a
okay,
cousin.
I'm eating Mr. T cereal. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I pay the food, don't eat my cereal.
Through and through. Pee-wee family for sure.
Nice. I totally forgot about this one too, and we do watch this one every year. The Grinch, but the animated one.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Not
that-
live action.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
The
one,
animated.
yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I forgot a really big one. Someone in your chat, I believe his name is Serotonin, brought up Scrooged. Oh my god.
Yeah,
The one
Scrooge is
with
such
Bill
a
Murray.
good one.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love that movie so much. It's so good.
It's
Bill
solid.
Murray edition. Yes.
Yes.
One that I was pretty impressed by that I wrote off that came out in theaters was the night. Oh well, gosh, it was the Jim Carrey one about the. Gosh, was it a Christmas Carol?
Yeah, just a
Yeah.
Christmas Carol, I think is all it's called. The
Yeah.
animated one that's done in like the Polar Express style.
Yeah, but this one,
whatever.
it
Yeah.
was actually all right because they don't make them look like super real. Like Scrooge obviously does not look like a real person. Like the closest I think relation you would get would maybe be like Peter Cushing or something like that, to like him looking like a human being. Rest in peace, Peter Cushing.
Don't talk about that.
That's mean.
But yeah, it's honestly it's pretty good. I wrote it off and watched it at home. It's like, yes, this isn't so bad. It's fair.
It's a classic tale. I mean, it's hard to screw it up, I feel like.
Right, it's like it's been done so many times before. It's like it would be up to you to mess it up. The Muppets version is also, I think, pretty darn essential for kiddos.
Yes.
It's
the
so
Muppet
Good.
Christmas Carol is up there, easily.
Yeah,
Michael
totally.
Caine is Scrooge.
Yes!
That's a good one, yes.
Michael Caine.
I think I don't remember the last time I saw that one, but I do remember it. He was in like stripy pajamas. He's always in stripy pajamas, but no, I don't remember the last time I saw A Christmas Carol, the Muppets version of A Christmas Carol.
Well, you should. It's good. I mean, if you do find it, in a place where you can watch it, definitely give it a look. It's good, especially if you like the Muppets. You will have a good time with Muppets Christmas Carol. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've seen it before. I just don't remember when the last time I saw it was.
Yeah. Another one too that I saw in chat that it keeps coming up is Die Hard. A lot of people don't call it a Christmas movie, and they need to educate themselves because it is totally a Christmas movie. He's going to a Christmas party at Nakatomi Plaza. It's so good.
The entire soundtrack is Christmas music. It's about a man coming back together with his family that he hasn't seen.
Yes.
And it's just, it all is set around Christmas. It ends with like snowing or possibly ash from a blown up building. Either
a little
way.
bit of both. Yeah.
The burning bodies of German terrorists.
Yes. Really, they weren't terrorists. They were thieves.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
yeah.
That's true.
And
Financial terrorists.
what movie doesn't have what Christmas movie doesn't have some sort of like stingy, greedy character? And that's what Hans Gruber is.
Yeah,
right?
he's that outsider villain that's here for something selfish and petty.
Yes.
In the eyes of the
so
holiday
he has
season.
To die.
Yes, it's like,
Get thrown
you
off a
need to
building.
get this, capitalistic materialism and just throw it off the building.
We all
That's Hans
remember
Gruber.
our favorite Christmas line from any Christmas movie, of course, which is, "You should have heard your brother squeal when I broke his neck." Obviously, that's a very Christmassy idea.
Right. And then, like, ho, ho, ho. Now I have a machine gun.
I guess,
and
that one.
Welcome to the party, pal. And just, oh, gosh, it's so good. Oh, my gosh. Another thing that I went to, too, this same movie theater, that, like, elevated this movie that, like, really just, it's become a holiday tradition for us. We didn't do it this year because we just had a baby. But what we'd been doing for the past few years, he's alive. He's super cute and I love him. But it's seriously impacted our movie-going habits for sure, at least for a little while. But one of my favorite experiences with Die Hard, what they did is they gave everybody like squirt guns, cap guns, candy cigarettes, and then at the very end they had pyrotechnics rigged around the entire theater. So when they rigged the explosives to blow on the roof, it's just this giant cuckoosh, and the whole theater just goes boom. And then every time the guys pop up, people are like squirting each other with squirt guns across the theater, and like cap guns are popping. And whenever he lights a cigarette, everybody gets like a candy cigarette and puts it in their mouth. And it was fun. It was cool. It's one of those
That
things.
sounds like the best time to be a kid ever.
Mm-hmm. Totally. There's so much good stuff.
If they messed up my popcorn, I'd be furious.
Well, then you just squirt them in the face. Yeah.
That sounds better than me watching Die Hard alone on Laserdisc, like the last time I watched it.
Laserdisc.
Laser.
Oh my gosh.
I gotta watch the movies on Laserdisc to compare the quality, man.
There you go. Oh my gosh. Before we, I guess, start diving into Gremlins, do you guys have any other holiday movies that you want to toss out there that, are essentials, things that you feel like you must see every time this time of year?
I I don't think so. Usually, our biggest tradition that kind of started last year, it's something one of my friends does in Husky Raid that I've started doing too. Is he watches the worst movies on Netflix he can find, the terrible ABC Family Christmas movies,
like the Hallmark style
one
ones.
Of those a week. Yeah, like Merry Christmas, those types of garbage ones that are like, you're like, how is this even a thing?
Does
like,
he do this sober and like he does this of his own volition?
He does.
I do.
He's a sad man.
And we just watch them and tear them down, and they're hilarious and terrible. Bipolar Bloodlust and Chat though said probably the biggest one that I think we missed so
yes,
far.
I know, and I feel embarrassed for missing it. Mega, so please tell us Bipolar's suggestion or statement.
Christmas Vacation.
Yes, such an essential with the Griswolds. Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. That's a pretty big tree, Griswold. Where are you going to put it? Bend over and I'll show you.
Oh, man.
What? I wasn't talking to you. It's such a good movie. And oh my gosh, like as a kid, I did not realize like how adult some of the jokes were until I got much older. And it's like, wow. It's like, it was almost like falling in love with it all over again. Such a great movie. So good. Oh my gosh. Fantastic. And just like with all the Christmas lights too, and just seeing this guy who is just really in love with the holiday time, and it means so much to him, and his son is still kind of, you know, indulging him, and his daughter's like, this is so stupid, but I'll do it anyway. And it means so much. And then like it shows you like dialing it to 11, kind of what the holidays can be like, you know, where you're trying to have this special moment with your family. Some of your relatives may not, you know, be the most awesome people to be around sometimes of the year, and that brings around some stresses, and they can sometimes just overstay their welcome or just say things where you're just like, wow, I can't believe they just said that, and things like that. And it kind of takes that and puts it in a really fun comedic way that can just make you think, that's ridiculous, but I also kind of see bits of my family in this as well. And I think that's kind of what makes it so special.
Yeah, in the way that A Christmas Story is like what it's like to be a little kid around Christmas. A Christmas Vacation is what it's like to be that dad on Christmas, I feel like.
Very
just
much
encapsulating
so.
the season. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because, exactly like with, A Christmas Story, as a kid, there's that one thing that you want, and your mom and dad are like, you're never going to get it. And you're like, what? What? And then you find out that's what they actually got you. And you're just like, yes! And it's just the most life-changing thing ever.
Yeah.
And then like, or, you get the one grandparents, they get the, oh my gosh, the crazy pajamas, or they give you nothing but slippers or PJs every year. And you're like, ugh. I can never wear this. Or much like Home Alone, like, hey, my grandmother made me a sweater with a bird knitted on it. And the old man's like, oh, that's nice. Not for the kid in the 4th grade, it's not. Kids will beat you up for that.
I don't know. My grandma gave me a pretty cool shirt. And it was a sleeping Pikachu, and it said current mood under it.
MLG grandma right there. Grandma Ruby with the big plays.
Literally the coolest grandma ever.
You know what? If my grandmother or my mother didn't give me new socks and new underwear every year, I don't think I'd buy that stuff all the time.
Where would you get socks and underwear? That's where it comes from.
God bless them.
I know,
because
right?
They help me so much in that aspect.
Without them, I would have holes in my underwear and socks and probably smell pretty rank year round.
Yes.
Thanks, Grandma and Grandpa.
Indeed.
You kept me smelling fresh.
When you're older, you can appreciate these things.
Exactly.
Very true. Well, awesome, guys. Well, to kind of give everybody a bit of a refresher, we're going to go ahead and play the trailer from Gremlins from 1984. So we'll go ahead and give that a quick look real quick.
Steven Spielberg presents Gremlins. Billy Pelser has a nice home.
Billy, is that you?
Yeah, Mom, it's me.
A nice job. A nice girl.
If you're not doing anything this Thursday night, maybe you'd like to go out on a date with me?
I'd love to.
And loving parents who are about to give him
You're gonna like this. No, don't shake it. We're gonna have to open it now. It won't wait till Christmas.
The most unusual gift he ever got.
What is it?
It's your new pet.
Come on, Barney, be a good dog. My dad gave it to me.
But there are a few things to keep in mind. If you expose it to the light, you may hurt it. If you get it wet, it will multiply.
All that from water? They got wet?
Yeah, plain water.
And most important, no matter how much they beg, never, never let them eat after midnight. Because when they do, they change. They become clever, mischievous,
What's going on here?
and dangerous.
Gremlins, huh? Little monsters.
Right.
Hundreds of them.
Well, I don't know, maybe thousands.
They've been here too. Billy, what are these things? Where do they come from?
Look, I know it sounds crazy, I know. But in a few hours, you're gonna have a major disaster on your hands.
Gremlins, directed by Joe Dante. They'll be expecting you.
And that was the trailer from Gremlins from 1984. Fantastic, fantastic show. And one that I consider to be a holiday essential. It is so good. Directed by Joe Dante, written by Chris Columbus. Stars Zach Galligan, Phoebe Cates, Hoyt Axton, and a few many others as well. The story of this, or the plot line, as written by IMDb: miniature green monsters tear through the small town of Kingston Falls. Hijinks ensue as a mild-mannered bank teller releases these hideous loonies after gaining a new pet and violating two simple rules: no water and no food after midnight, and no bright light. Hilarious mayhem and destruction in a town straight out of Norman Rockwell. So when your washing machine blows up and your TV goes on the fritz, before you call the TV repairman, turn on all your lights and check under the beds, because you never can tell. There might just be a gremlin in your house. So, guys.
Cap, I have to say this. Before you continue, I have to say this, man. Mm-hmm. I cannot believe that trailer. I'm sitting here watching the trailer, pissed off. I'm like, are you kidding me? Okay, guys, if anyone that's here in the channel right now, if you have not seen this movie, you just saw the movie. They showed every part of that movie right now.
Hang on.
They gave up so much of that movie. They pretty much told you the plot, the premise, the beginning, middle, and the end.
They did.
That's
not.
it.
You saw some
Enjoy,
things.
you guys. You saw the movie.
No. Well, also, to be fair,
terrible people who did that. Oh.
To be fair, we did tell people this is what we were going to be doing about a month ago. So if they didn't watch it, that's their fault. That's their fault, first of all. But also, too, that's kind of, par for the course as far as trailers go. Unless it's a teaser, you're going to see, a little bit of everything. It's very, very unusual.
After you've seen a movie, there's always those shots like, oh, that was from the end. Oh, that was from this. Like, you don't know.
Right, and you have a bias because you've seen the whole thing, sir.
I am very aware
full context.
The points of trailers. They just did they went the fullest.
And I agree with what Bipolar Bloodlust said in chat. The best parts of the movie are definitely not in the trailer.
Yeah.
And so it gives you, honestly, it's giving you a good enough, overview of what you're getting into, so what you know to expect. I kind of wish that they didn't show you that you didn't see the turn? Sure. But
there you go.
You're trying to get as many people into the movie as you can. Casting a wide net.
It's not a great trailer, and even if it spoils some things, the movie itself is made so well that knowing what's going to happen doesn't really matter, because at this point, if you don't know what's going to happen in Gremlins, where the hell have you been?
I just, before we even continue, I had to address the trailer because my goodness gracious.
So before as we dive in, let's kind of talk about how old were you when you saw Gremlins, if you can recall? I mean, I definitely saw it way too young. I think I was maybe 8 years old when I saw Gremlins
Hey,
for the first time.
It's a PG movie, my friend. You can't be.
Yeah, it predates. Does it predate the PG-13 rating system?
It's one of the movies. It's one of the movies responsible for PG.
That's right. It was that. It was this and Temple of Doom.
Yep.
Yeah. Fun fact for those that don't know.
Wait, hold up. So this was PG.
This is PG. It is still a PG movie.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's why people complained, and then Red
No
Dawn was the
way.
first ever PG-13 movie after, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Yep. Because Raiders was going to be PG as well, and a bunch of angry parents said, not for my baby. But yeah, fun fact though, yeah, this is kind of a seminal and pivotal moment for movies and the rating system as we know it today. It created a whole new category.
The scene alone where the mother goes Michael Myers on the Gremlins in the kitchen
That
is
was
rated
awesome.
R.
Yeah.
I'm talking
But
about
at the same time,
massacring
it's like
horrifically.
It's hilarious though. Like she
Oh,
totally
it's amazing. I'm not gonna. No, that's not my point right now.
like when she
It's a
takes
great
like the blender and like
Yeah.
blend and there's just
Oh.
green
Turns
stuff
it
sprayed
on.
everywhere
Oh.
and it gets all like
Dude,
all
the
the Christmas
microwave
cookies.
scene.
Oh, it's so
The
good.
The microwave scene was uncalled for.
The gremlin explodes.
Oh, it was so called
in the
for.
microwave.
You need
It's
that.
fine. It's a stupid little ugly monster. I want to see him explode.
Yeah, it's like it's what happens when you put a pizza roll or like a hot pocket in the, microwave too long.
The
It's a
microwave
gremlin's
scene
head.
is
Just
Oh man.
so
oh, it's so good.
We were supposed to say when we saw it, right?
Yes, exactly. So yeah, I saw it when I was about 8 years old, and it freaked me out as a kid. But the only parts that freaked me out were some of the scenes, with everything that happened to Billy's mom. Those were the scary scenes for me as a kid. But Mega, how old were you when you saw Gremlins?
I honestly can't remember a time when I hadn't seen Gremlins because it came out 7 years before I was born, and my older siblings made me watch way worse stuff than that when I was a kid. Like I watched Halloween, Friday the 13th, Child's Play, Nightmare on Elm Street, all of those when I was like 5. So I probably saw Gremlins when I was like 4. I used to watch it with my mom all the time. But I definitely agree with you that the mom scenes stuck with me as being
yes.
pure horror when I was a kid. Like
Yes.
I was like, this movie's a scary movie. Now I'm like, no, it's not a scary movie, but it kind of is. I don't know. Yeah,
Exactly.
it's always been with me.
No, it is legit terrifying. And also, it's one of those things like, I will turn on all the lights. I will make sure nothing is in the room for a while. And still kind of do. I don't know. Maybe that's why I turn on all the lights when I go around the house and my wife is like, what are you doing? Maybe this is it. Maybe this is the source.
This is the reason.
Spartan, how old were you when you saw Gremlins for the first time?
You know what, man? I can't recall, man.
Yeah?
I cannot recall. I just have like an old memory of the movie.
A repressed memory?
An old movie that I saw it, and the thing that stuck with me is I was genuinely scared when I first saw it. Like it didn't sit well with me. I remember as soon as the music kicks on, dun, 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 like as soon as that kicks on, I'm like, oh, I've made a great mistake watching this.
Did it still scare you to this day? Does it still scare you?
No, not at all. Honestly, the only movie that still irks me right now, that still kind of like gives me the EBGBs when I watch it, is Wizard of Oz, man. I can't watch that movie. Is it
the monkeys?
I just don't know what it is, dude. Like I'll watch it and
is it the creepy man
EBGBs,
promising
bro.
gifts and then gives everybody nothing?
It's so weird. Oh my god, everything about that movie creeps me out, man. I can't watch that movie.
No,
but
Process of a
Gremlins.
human melting?
Yeah, I mean, that can do it too.
Gremlins is cool. Gremlins is cool though. I don't remember when I first saw it. I rewatched it after me and you had talked about the Gremlins thing for this podcast episode. I rewatched it and it was just so cool, reminiscing and the nostalgia behind it.
Ruby, how old were you when you saw Gremlins for the first time?
I was okay. So there are a lot of really, really popular movies that I have not seen and probably will not end up seeing until I have a reason. Specifically, two. This was one of those movies.
So basically, I made you watch it. I was like, "Hey, if you want to be on, you got to watch this movie." And so that's kind of what broke the wall for you.
And it's not even for any specific reason that I avoid it. It's just that it's never been a big movie in our house.
Sure.
Like I tried to get my family to watch it with me, and my mom had said she was traumatized by it.
Oh no.
So,
Well, I'm glad that I know that I just wrecked your household for the holiday season. You are so welcome.
Good job, Cap.
Yes, thank you. Bringing holiday cheer to everyone. Oh my gosh. So let's kind of walk through the movie a little bit. So, you know, it opens up with a profession and a man, or a dad with a profession that I don't even know if it still exists anymore. But, you know, this guy who's an inventor who makes pretty obscure things. You know, like the whole bathroom buddy thing. It's like, yeah, it's kind of cool. You know, it's got everything in it, and he's trying to find a gift for his son for Christmas, and stumbles upon this like very odd shop in New York, I guess, and it's like this old Chinese store under like a building or a restaurant.
So much.
It's so bad, and like
I love that 80s movies can just like they can just do whatever they want to start, and they just throw a narrator on top of it to explain it, and you're just like, all right, cool.
It's like,
that's
oh,
fine.
yes. Yeah. And like, you know, you see this cute little animal, and you're like, this is awesome. And you know, like when Furbies came out, I swear. Yeah, like I swear that toy had to have been inspired by Gremlins,
Absolutely.
or that's the reason why it sold so well.
For sure.
100%.
Oh my gosh. But it's such a cute little animal. I mean, who wouldn't want, you know, a little mogwai running around? It's like such a cute, lovable creature, and they're adorable. And the idea of, you know, these simple rules, you know, don't feed them after midnight, don't get them wet, don't turn the lights on, it'll kill them. It's like, these are simple rules. Get somebody who's going to mess it up.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I really enjoyed Gremlins, guys. It's a movie that I think it brings the fun, but also it's like, it's a frightening kind of fun, because it's a lot of like shock value, but it doesn't take itself too seriously at all. It knows what it is.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, and it has such great moments in it, you know, where these things are like so mischievous. Like when you know, the water spills on Gizmo for the first time, and then the new ones pop out, and you know, Stripe and the other like ones start trying to pop out, and they start thinking for themselves, and they, you know, cut the power to his alarm clock, so they feed him after midnight, and then all of a sudden the movie takes that such dark turn from like, these are just really weird fuzzy creatures, to now these are things that are going to,
as a kid, it always I was always like, how the hell did this little cute thing turn into that?
Yeah, it's like, is this alien? What happened?
What is this?
It's like, it's just this goo and smoke, and like it's all scaly, and it's like there's no fuzzy thing on this anymore at all. This is like a lizard creature.
Did anybody catch this? The part where what's the dude's name with the mohawk?
Stripe.
Okay, the part where Stripe jumps into the pool, which was a really cool scene, because they got all that water bubbling, all super epic.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next scene is them marching down the street with like 1,000 gremlins, right?
Yes.
They totally skipped the incubation stage and became gremlins.
Maybe it's because they were just soaking in water for that long,
because
I guess,
those they don't have to incubate because they're already gremlins.
They're already gremlins.
They've
so
already
they just produce gremlins, like the evil
yeah.
gremlins.
Yeah,
Okay,
they don't make
you.
more mogwais. They
Mhm.
make
Got
gremlins
you.
at that point,
That makes
I guess.
sense.
That's
Okay.
That makes
how
sense.
I'm gonna believe it.
I think that's right.
sense.
I think we can
accept
make that
that.
leap. That
Because
seems
in
fair.
Gremlins 2, the sprinkler system turns on one of the gremlins, and you see him like shooting more gremlins out of his
Just
body.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Right, exactly. Oh my gosh. And then one of the things I liked about this movie too is it like introduced like almost like a boogeyman style story that you could tell kids in a way. Like, hey, so dad's car's acting up, must be gremlins.
Yeah.
In there.
Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we even say it at work, like if for some reason a light or something is, you know, messing up with the electrical in our on our stage, we're like, well, there must be gremlins up there. I don't know. But it just becomes like, you know, part of, you know, everyday, you know, vernacular.
You know, I use the word gremlins when I make fun of people's looks. I'm not saying to. I'm not saying to be mean.
Ouch.
Wow.
I say it mainly to my nephews, who are little munchkins that run around about. Yeah, little gremlins, man. Calm down.
Oh
They
my
don't know what I'm
gosh.
talking about.
Are they chasing
don't
you
know.
with knives or trying to eat all your chicken wings? What are they
I
doing?
really use it for children. I use it for children, guys.
Are they going yum yum?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You're the reason PG-13 exists.
But this movie, when I was watching it, I think my my favorite thing about it is because we're talking about Christmas movies, and it really is exactly a Christmas movie where it's like somebody just went, what if for the last half we just had monsters in it? Like, because it's exactly It's a Wonderful Life with like the bank foreclosing on things, and you've got the Mr. Potter like an analogous person with the old lady.
And kind of like Ebenezer Scrooge as well.
Yeah, we got that exact like same setup, and the mom even watches It's a Wonderful Life in the kitchen in the beginning. It's like it's so clear what they're going for.
Yeah, it's almost like a slight wink and a nod, like hey.
Yeah, and I just love everything about like, and if you just only watch the first bit before the transformation, you could just totally believe it's just like your standard Christmas happy movie. And then these monsters just show up, and like it just is so, I don't know, it's so ridiculous.
It's almost like you maybe got like a bunch of guys sitting around, like Chris Columbus was maybe having a drink with somebody and was like maybe having a beer with Spielberg, like, it'd be funny if we had like this Christmas movie with these cute creatures, but they turn into vicious monsters and start to eat everybody everywhere. How great would that be? And they kill the old ladies.
They're a bunch of drunks.
They're drunk old men, but they're like small. And they like break things. How cool would that be?
That'll work.
Yeah, and they're like, cool, that'd be awesome. But it definitely feels that way, though. It's almost like, maybe people think, oh, it's a fun little creature. That's so cute. Everybody would want one of these things. Oh, I don't want one of these things at all.
It's the Peltzer pet. Everybody's going to want one. You can even replace the dog.
Yes, right?
Mega, what you were saying about, like, foreshadowing and stuff, like, I feel like in the 80s in particular, when there was a particular person in the movie that was extra mean, extra, like, harsh. You could almost say, like, the antagonist in the movie, that old lady, Miss Deeble, I think her name was.
Something like that.
Whenever a character like that shows themselves, their ugly face in the movie, you just know that person's going down, and they're going down hard, baby. That's like a 80s thing, big time. You identify them, and you're like, they're going down. Here we go. How's it gonna happen?
If I had to, so if I were to ask you guys, favorite Gremlin's death in this movie, what would be your favorite thing, human being or gremlin?
I mean, it's hard to top the microwave.
I know the microwave is pretty solid. I mean, but it's so simple, but it's almost like the first one, with the one in the KitchenAid or the blender, where he's just like yum yum, and he's getting in there, and he just turns it on, and his legs just keep flipping around and flopping in the bowl. God. Just green blood just spraying everywhere. It gets all over the Christmas cookies, and it's like, it almost looks like frosting or whatever. And it's just, it's so silly. And gosh, it's so good. But I think also the old lady being tossed out her little like easy chair up the staircase.
Yes.
I was cheering.
Her staircase that's like 8 stories tall in her 2-story tall house. Like the way it's cut, she just keeps spinning, and I'm like, I can see the outside of the house.
She went up like 10 flights on that thing, dude.
Right?
So goofy. Oh my gosh, the movie is pure like cartoon incarnate.
It is. It really is. It's like a cartoon in real life, but like with lots of blood. So good.
I was reading about the movie because we were going to talk about it, and I was reading that the first draft apparently was like super gory. Like Mrs. Peltzer was supposed to get her head cut off by the gremlin that she fought like in the house.
I'd see that.
Like it was.
Oh my god.
They like forced him to like force Chris Columbus to like tone it down.
They're like, buddy,
really violent and gross, I guess.
That's awesome.
I know, right? It makes
like
you wonder what would have been.
Right?
Like, it's so weird.
Oh my
They
gosh.
should have come out with like a version for kids and version for adults.
That's what I want.
Yes.
So you can grow up and then eventually watch the adult
Or like
version of
Gremlins
Gremlins.
2 was the adult version.
But yeah, it was pretty cool. So Ruby, what would say I guess if you had to have a favorite death to a gremlin in the movie, what would be one of your top ones? Or at least your favorite?
Well, I definitely liked the Mrs. Deezer getting launched out of her house.
Yes.
That was definitely a big one. I also really like the Gremlins driving the tractor through the wall.
Yes, so good. And just like the guy that's like going out, is like, something's wrong with my TV antenna. And he goes outside and they're just like hot wired into his truck and just burst through the house and just tear the whole house down and kill him and his wife. It's like, it's so funny, but so sad. He just killed this guy. And he's like, they're real! They're Gremlins!
I love that guy. He's that weird xenophobic neighbor that everybody has.
It's
all the foreign parts in my car. I'm like, all right, calm down, guy.
It's like,
whoa.
He's like, you driving a Beetle? This German piece of trash. This tractor, American, never fails.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know if that's so true today, but
Right?
I don't know, with Volkswagen and all the stuff, I don't know, maybe they had still some problems, but it was funny though, just to see him like have this, like, he was excited that it was real and that he was like, I'm right, I wasn't wrong, these were real things, but now it's gonna kill me, but I was right. And then because like he talks about like in the war, like in like how they would always they would put Gremlins like in their airplane engines to sabotage pilots and stuff, and it was just like this boogeyman story like during the war. And everyone's just like, he's just a drunk. He drinks all the time, blah, blah, blah. And then it just turns into, like, the scariest thing ever.
What if all drunks actually know what they're talking about, and we just think they're intoxicated?
They're all just prophets. We just don't ignore them all.
I like to think I speak prophetically when I'm drunk. So, yeah, sure. Why not?
I could totally see that being a thing. But yeah, it is interesting how this guy is just, has seen as like as this town just like, piece of garbage, and then he's the one that, called it, and everyone's just like, yeah, whatever.
But isn't that always the case with these kinds of movies? Like, there's always a person who says exact, and then people are like, nah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I think that what you're saying, how there's always that guy, is kind of one of my favorite things about Gremlins and 80s movies in general, is that they can build themselves up off of just like stereotype characters, archetype characters, and every character, like those characters can maybe be shallow, some people would say, but every character in Gremlins, as soon as they step on screen, you know exactly like who they are in the movie, which I love. Like as soon as you see the dad, like he's this bumbling inventor who is terrible at his job but loves his family. You see Billy, he's like bright-eyed, nice kid. Like everybody is immediately recognizable in their role in the movie. And as somebody whose favorite thing in movies is like the characters and understanding the characters, that's one of my favorite things about the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like it's I kind of mentioned it earlier. One of the things that I really liked was the idea of, there's a little bit misdirection, at least as a kid. Like, I'd never seen a trailer for the movie. I just sat down and watched it with some of my friends in my neighborhood when I was young, and it's like, oh, this is kind of fun. And then just seeing it just take this dark turn that, for me, at least as a kid, when I was seeing it for the first time, I didn't really know it was coming. Because you're like, wow, this is weird. These little things
is
are...
Gremlins the childhood version of From Dusk Till Dawn?
Probably.
You just don't see it coming. All of a sudden, things get wild.
Yeah, exactly. And it probably is. That's a great parallel. It's one of those things where, like, it's a good example of, having a surprise turn. I mean, and honestly, at this point, the movie's been out, since '84.
I think we can get into spoilers.
Yeah, no, I mean, not only that, but it's one of those things, like, it's hard to not know what's going to happen. And honestly, it's kind of hard for movies to kind of keep things to themselves these days, too. I mean, I kind of would like to see Hollywood at some point maybe at least start to take the trend of, if you're going to have a big turn or a big reveal, hold that card to your chest a little bit. Maybe don't quite show us everything, or at least show us the big turn or a big surprise. Like, I think at least one for me was like with Civil War and Spider-Man. Like, how crazy would it have been if all of a sudden you did not know Spider-Man was going to be in this movie, and then he just comes down with the web and just thunk and just takes it. And then the only like little drop you get maybe is during the trailers when they're first teasing it, or like, hey, I know about this kid in Queens or something like that. Just keep it like real subtle to where if people understand the material, they'll get
maybe
hyped
like on the movie poster, like there's a web on the corner. You know what I'm saying? Like something very subtle like that. Well, why is there a web in the corner?
Yeah, keep it. And it's one of those things where I feel like we're not getting that as much anymore, and everyone feels like we got to show everything. Everybody's got to come see, and I guess
that's kind of what I was saying about the Gremlins trailer, guys. I think you're just affirming what I'm saying. Thank you, Cap. I appreciate that.
In an odd way, we kind of had that with another movie we were talking about earlier, The Last Jedi, in that The Force Awakens ended in such a way that seemed like it was setting up. Like the last shot was setting up for a lot of expectations, and then 2 years later, they gave us quite the twist on how that scene finishes playing out.
Sure, and also as well, too, to The Last Jedi's credit, they did film extra scenes with the intention of misdirection during marketing. So high five to them, for taking, at least having the foresight to be like, you know what, let's just, maybe mislead a little bit. Because then when things start to play, it's like, well, wait a second. That's not what I saw. And things like that. So I thought I appreciated that. But anyways, back to Gremlins. Yes. And one of the things I also liked about this movie, and it's, I don't know, just kind of a personal thing that makes me happy, is that it takes place on the Universal lot. And so it's the same town square as Back to the Future.
Yes.
Which is awesome.
Save the clock tower.
Save the clock tower.
The clock tower broke, not because of the lightning bolt. It was because of the Gremlins, guys.
Right, exactly. Real talk. It is totally true. Doc Brown, you don't need 1.20 gigawatts. You just need a bunch of Gremlins. They'll get you back.
Like, what if they just decided to make a joint movie?
Back to the Future and Gremlins mishmashed?
If they did a crossover, that'd be incredible.
I would totally watch it. I would love to see that. It'd be like Kentucky Fried Movie, but with 80s movies.
Instead of the Libyans, it was the Gremlins.
I built this bomb for the Gremlins with old pinball pots.
The Libyans.
Oh, that'd be so good. I would actually, honestly, I would like to see that. Robot Chicken, please make it happen.
Somebody animate that for us, please.
Yes, I would totally love to see that movie. That'd be so good.
Cap, on what you're saying about the set of the movie, man. A lot of the times when they're showing them walking through the town and the subtle parts of the town, I'm recognizing immediately. I'm like, oh, that's that part of the town. I've been there multiple times to the Universal set, and man, dude, I'm just like totally in nostalgia mode. And then the whole theater part, like, oh my god, that's right there where the wire was, and they went back to the future. Like it's just so cool seeing all that, and them transform it with the snow and everything, and the explosions and the theater exploding and stuff like that. I mean, it was really cool seeing that, tying it in.
That was honestly actually probably the theater explosion.
Yeah.
That was the best.
Just getting all together, just getting to watch Snow White.
I love that they're watching Snow White. That's like a perfect movie.
I know, right?
Yeah, and they're just singing along, just hi ho.
Are there how many Mogwais are there in the movie? Like not turned into Gremlins. Like how many actual Mogwais?
Yeah, Gizmo, and then I think 5 or 6 additional. So
I
think
they
7.
make one more at the lab, so that's kind of perfect, isn't it? Billy's Snow White, and then there's 7 dwarves.
That is so meta. Oh my gosh, that's like next level. I wouldn't doubt that was maybe intentional.
That's what I'm thinking, right? Because
I didn't even think about that.
That's super smart.
Yeah.
Those clever bastards.
But yeah, it's it's such a fun movie, and I think that might be the best kill. It's the big play of the game for the movie for sure.
The game.
And just the big multi-kill of all the evil gremlins. And but overall, guys, I really liked the hell out of this movie. I think it's so fun, and it breaks up kind of, what would be, your normal Christmas movies, like It's a Wonderful Life. That's not a knock against it, but it kind of shakes things up a little bit. You can still have, your holiday moments, but it kind of infuses, other options around this time of year. A little bit of horror, a little bit of silly, some physical comedy, and I don't know, more ways to maybe at least for me, like my sister's a real big horror fan, so this is a movie that's fun for us to watch together. Is because it's a way to kind of, bridge those gaps a little bit. And that's what I kind of like about the holiday season with movies too, at least with me, like it's in a way for some people it's like music or video games or whatever. For me, movies are like an easy way to cross the aisle, or it's easy icebreakers.
Right.
And so that's one of the things I like about this is it's another avenue to break the ice and maybe, connect with somebody that maybe is really into horror. And I kind of like horror, but it's like, hey, dude, Gremlins is such a big thing in our house. And I'm like, oh, dude, I love Gremlins. And so that's kind of what I like about the movie as well. Is
how about the pacing of the movie? I felt like there was never a dull moment.
Yes,
it paces so well.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's never like dead air. There's never like why are we doing this? There's intentionality with everything.
There is.
Right.
And that was one thing I really thought about when I was watching it early on. Is there are slow parts, but they feel like they have such great purpose. Like when Billy is playing the music with Gizmo, playing the song along with him.
Yes,
like, that's such a little in a big modern movie, I feel like they would skip a little moment like that, but that little moment right there is just like the perfect amount of bonding between
it builds
Billy
connection.
and Gizmo that like makes us care about them together.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. It shows like, hey, this thing is super cute, and it's almost like he's taking care of a child in a way.
Yeah. And it's super smart because it knows like what key to hit on the piano for him.
Yeah, it knows how to change the channels on the
That
TV.
My heart saw that.
I get little kid chills every time I hear the Gremlins whistle music.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I totally agree, Mega.
Actually, whisper to a bird egg. You can whistle to a bird egg and it'll whistle chirp back. If it's far enough.
Let me go to my fridge real quick.
Yeah, BRB. That's cool though. That's cool.
That is cool. That's
I would go out of my way to find a parrot to get them to sing like a gremlin.
Oh my gosh,
that'd be
incredible.
awesome.
That would be pretty
amazing.
That would be great. That would be the best.
Can I mention one last thing before if we're wrapping up?
We are, yeah. We're kind of winding down, yeah.
Feeling. I just want to say we didn't even mention how like amazing the creature effects are in the movie. And,
yeah,
they're so amazing to look at. Like
when he melts at the end, that melting scene was like super epic, dude.
I know. It's like every second of it, the way Gizmo moves, the way like the Gremlins look, just the close up, like even like the moistness of Gizmo's face, like everything's awesome in it.
Yeah, great use of practical effects, great puppet work, and just it goes to show practical still goes a long way, and in a way also in stop motion as well. Like when they're all storming the street, it's a bunch of stop motion, and but I do agree, it's one of those things where. In a world and an age in cinema now where we're more likely to get CG characters than we are to get physical characters. And we talked about this on like the first episode of AV Club. Part of what makes Jurassic Park, as an example, stand the test of time so well is you have both and they coexist well. Like you use the CG to sell what's not there just a little bit more. Like, oh, we can only show this one part, but we'll kind of CG the rest to make it still feel like it's in the world. And I find that we're getting practical things less and less with the rare things like Star Wars, because there's maybe such source material and there was such kickback with the prequels to guarantee that we'll get that. But I totally agree with you, Mega. The practical effects in this are just fantastic, and I love the puppets. They're so fun, and it really kind of it sells that they're there. That it's a real thing running around. And you can accept the cuteness and the savagery at the same time, and it's great. Spartan, any final thoughts?
Yeah, definitely, man. I wanted to touch on this before we concluded. One of the big aspects of the movie that I really liked a lot was the cinematography. I really enjoyed the still shots and the continuous shots that they do. Two in particular. One, when the mother comes down from the stairs, she hears all the stuff in the kitchen. And it's a continuous shot from the stairs all the way into the kitchen, into the murderous scenes. It's one continuous shot. Like, they're not bouncing around frames, angles, and all that stuff. Right. I can't stand it. It's very distracting. It's something like in the New Age movies, they do that a lot. They're just, especially during fight scenes, oh my god, it's just they're bouncing around so much. You're just like, who's punching who at this point?
Right, yeah, definitely not a lot of jump cuts in this one.
The continuous shots, like another part is when the kid's going downstairs, was he in the school or something, and there's a pool down there.
Yeah,
they don't cut the shot once. I mean, the gremlin jumps out, he through the wall, he moves out of the way. He attacks them, they fight a little bit, then he jumps into the pool. They don't break the shot once. Like, it just zooms out and it starts showing the entire room. They start showing the entire pool. I mean, it's just really cool to kind of watch it develop as it happens, as opposed to just cutting shots and then different angles, I know that's something a little more 80s, 90s type of filming, but I enjoyed it. I like that about this movie. There was lots of shots that way, and I liked it.
I agree. So yeah, I'd second that too. A lot of good camera movement, a lot of motivated movement that fits to kind of help sell the moment too. Like what you're saying, with the slow reveal of like, we're in the school and holy crap, it's a giant pool.
Yeah.
We're in deep trouble now. and stuff like that. So it's I agree. It's a good use of understanding your space and knowing what you can do to kind of help sell that oh crap moment and things like that. So yeah, good thoughts. Good thoughts. Ruby, any closing thoughts on Gremlins?
Great movie.
All right. So yeah, I totally agree. It's a fantastic film. And so guys, thank you so much for tuning in to our 4th episode of AV Club. If it's your first time checking us out, this is a monthly show that we do on my channel. We'll be picking out our next movie pretty soon. We're going to wait to see what's coming and going on Netflix and Amazon, and we'll name it at the beginning. But before we kind of start closing down and kind of, doing our little bit of housekeeping here, we got to tell you where we can find our wonderful guests on the internet. So, making his inaugural debut on the show. Where can we find you on the internet?
Twitch.tv/MegaMagwitch. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
There, you'll find the rest later. It's fine.
And Twitter, can we find you on there as well?
Yeah, you could also go to twitter.com/MegaMagwitch if you really wanted to, I suppose.
Do it. He's fantastic. He's awesome. He's worth a heart click for sure, guys. Spartan, where can we find you on the internet?
First, I want to say that everyone that's in chat that came over from my community, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you guys taking the time and coming over here and supporting Cap and us. And thank you guys. You guys can find me at my Twitch and Twitter handle is both the same, Spartan God 56. The S and G are both capital. And thank you guys. Appreciate you guys.
And Ruby, I hear that you might be starting to stream kind of soon. So if we were to find you on the internet and start maybe getting you a little bit of a boosted following to get your feet running, where can we find you?
You would find me at twitter.com/rwbydragonn. And
is that with one N or two N's?
That's with two N's.
There we go. Awesome. So you guys go. Links are in chat as well. And if you guys aren't following me, my name is Captain McFly. You can follow me here at twitch.tv/Captain McFly. You can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/Captain McFly TV. And this is actually just now getting kicked out to podcast services. So you can find us on anchor.fm/Hill Valley AV Club. It should be making its way to iTunes, Podbean, Google Play, all those major outlets as well. So if you missed an episode or you want to catch previous ones, that's a great way to check it out. You can also find me on YouTube. The links will be in the description eventually as well. And guys, thank you again for joining us on an episode of AV Club. We will be back next month with another movie to check out and discuss. I hope you guys have a fantastic Christmas and a great New Year. And we're going to switch over to playing some Destiny and playing some of the Dawning, and then jumping into some Fortnite for some late night splodes to end the night. So guys, thank you so much. Spartan, Mega, Ruby, I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, dude. Appreciate you.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.